In the heart of a forgotten town, nestled deep within a forest where the trees whispered secrets and shadows danced in the moonlight, there stood an old mansion, abandoned, decaying, and shrouded in mystery. It was said that no one had lived there for nearly a century, ever since the tragic night when the entire Montclair family vanished without a trace. Locals spoke of the house in hushed tones, warning curious souls to stay away, for strange things were known to happen to those who dared to enter. But as the years passed, the mansion became little more than a ghost story, a tale to frighten children on stormy nights. That is, until a group of teenagers, eager to prove their bravery, decided to spend the night there. Armed with flashlights, cameras, and a sense of adventure, they made their way through the overgrown path, the air growing colder with each step. As they crossed the threshold, the house seemed to breathe, its walls creaking as if waking from a long slumber. The night began innocently enough, with laughter and jokes echoing through the empty halls. But soon the atmosphere grew heavy, and an unsettling feeling settled over them. They heard footsteps above, though they knew they were alone. Doors creaked open on their own, and shadows moved where there should have been none. Their flashlights flickered, and strange whispers filled the air, incomprehensible but urgent, like a warning from the other side. One by one, the teens began to feel an overwhelming sense of dread, as if something unseen was watching them, waiting. Panic set in when they discovered that the front door, which had been wide open, was now locked tight. They were trapped. Desperate, they searched for a way out, but the house seemed to shift, its layout changing with every turn, leading them deeper into its dark, labyrinthine interior. The whispers grew louder, and a cold wind blew through the corridors, carrying with it the faint smell of decay. Finally, they stumbled upon a room that none of them remembered passing before. A grand ballroom, its floor covered in dust and cobwebs, with a chandelier hanging precariously above. In the center of the room was a large mirror, its surface cracked and foggy. As they approached, something moved within the reflection. Figures that weren't there with them, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, their faces pale and expressionless. As they approached, something moved within the reflection. Figures that weren't there with them, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, their faces pale and expressionless. And then, with a jolt of terror, the teens realized that these figures were looking directly at them, their eyes filled with sorrow and longing. The mirror began to vibrate and the room filled with a deafening hum. The figures in the mirror reached out, their hands pressing against the glass as if trying to break through. The teens screamed, backing away in horror, but it was too late. With a shattering crash, the mirror exploded, sending shards of glass flying in every direction. When the dust settled, the room was empty. No sign of the teens, no sign of anything amiss. The mansion stood silent once more, its dark secrets buried deeper than ever. And the townspeople, when they spoke of the mansion, would say that those who entered were never seen again, becoming part of the house's eternal nightmare.